Hello everyone, welcome to Simply Inspiring channel. This is a channel wherein I am going to discuss about a book that's a favorite book of mine. The name of the book is I Too Had a Dream. This is the biography of Dr. Verghese Kurien, written by Gouri Salvi. You all know a big brand called Amul, but how many of you know the background and people behind the success of that particular brand, Amul? Dr. Verghese Kurien is a well-known name, and he is a pioneer rather in bringing up this Amul brand as one of the well-known brands in India. Well, this is a biography, so this book talks about the life story of Dr. Verghese Kurien, and as a young boy from Kerala, the one who came to Chennai to pursue his higher studies, and then he went to Michigan University to do dairy engineering. And from then on, he came to Gujarat, and the life of Dr. Verghese Kurien as a young rookie engineer, how it shaped and what inspired him. There was a gentleman by the name Tribhuvan Das Patel. Tribhuvan Das Patel is a nationalist, and he is the one who rather inspired Dr. Verghese Kurien to get into the so-called Amul brand. So before Amul brand, it was a cooperative dairy limited. So this young boy, as I said, born in Kerala, studied in Chennai, and worked for a short period for Tata Group of companies, and went to pursue his dairy engineering. So his higher education was funded, particularly the US education was funded by then government of India. This is, I am talking about mid 40s. So in 1947, this young gentleman was funded by the then government of India to pursue his higher studies. And when he came back, the nation got freedom. So Dr. Verghese Kurien, then he was obviously Verghese Kurien, was asked to come to Gujarat. He had a lot of problems because he was a bachelor, he was a non-vegetarian and was a Christian. So he couldn't even find a place to live in the place called Anand. So Anand is a small dusty town, but somehow he managed to get in there, and then he started working for a government creamery. So that was the time a nationalist by the name Tribhuvan Das Patel, he was struggling, working for the welfare of the farmers. So this young boy kept on writing resignation letter to Delhi government, asking them to relieve him. So that is the background, and in the process, in the few months that he stays in Anand, he happens to see the hard work and the dedication and commitment of Tribhuvan Das Patel. So at one point of time, Dr. Verghese Kurien started helping Tribhuvan Das Patel Cooperative Society. So when Tribhuvan Das Patel come to know that Verghese Kurien has resigned, he requested him to join that cooperative society. Friends, that is the beginning of a big national movement. So during that time, Dr. Verghese Kurien took charge, and there was no looking back. Dr. Verghese Kurien, Tribhuvan Das Patel, and Dr. Verghese Kurien's friend Dalaya. So these three people, they worked together to build this cooperative society. So all the farmers were brought in together to contribute their milk, and this milk is processed from few thousand liters to few 100,000 liters. So this small dusty town, Anand, is becoming very popular among so many people, including then Prime Minister of India. So this is how this cooperative society is becoming very popular, and then subsequently they were looking for a name. So somehow they found a name. That name was Amul. So Amul became a household name, and then the turning point happens somewhere in the middle of 60s. Then Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri was invited to inaugurate one of the factories of then Anand. So during that time, Lal Bahadur Shastri was very impressed with the work of the cooperative society, and he asked the reason for the success of this cooperative society. So Dr. Verghese Kurien started telling him the success belongs to the farmers, because farmers are the one, they contribute for the welfare and the benefit of the people as well as for the society. Then Dr. Verghese Kurien was asked by Lal Bahadur Shastri to replicate the same effort in all other states. That is how NDDB was born, National Dairy Development Board. So Dr. Verghese Kurien, along with the government of India's support, started this NDDP, National Dairy Development Board, and then he started replicating the success of Anand in many other countries. That is how many other states, that is how it went to, he went to Delhi, Hyderabad and many other places. My dear friends, the work of Dr. Verghese Kurien is amazing. This memoir, rather biography, as written by Gouri Salvi, as told by Dr. Verghese Kurien. Imagine 60 years before, if you want to buy 1 liter of milk, it was very difficult. Today you may have money, you may buy any amount of milk, but 60 years before, buying 5 liters of milk was very difficult because there was no milk available, no sufficient milk available in the country. Today, do you know India is one of the largest milk producing nations? That is because of Dr. Verghese Kurien, because of Tribhuvan Das Patel, because of Talaya. So he is an amazing man, Dr. Verghese Kurien. You must read this book. This book has been, was forwarded by none other than Ratan Tata. I like to read one of the quotes, what he mentioned. Ratan Tata says here, one cannot help but wonder what India would be today if we had 1,000 Dr. Kuriens with a type of vision and with similar commitment, dedication and national spirit. My dear friends, Dr. Verghese Kurien is also a nationalist. So many of us, we don't know the work of Dr. Verghese Kurien. This is an amazing book. If you get an opportunity, I do suggest you to read this book. This is a lovely book. And this channel is meant for youngsters. To simply inspire the youngsters, I have started this. Subscribe this channel, tell your friends. Thank you so much.